I gotta say, that might be my best piece of content so far. What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of Tea with KP. Today, we are going to have two very special guests on. You may know them from my Instagram, from some of my videos. Nick from the Theme Park Fairy and Kurt from Kurt with a K, or Theme Park Today. We are going to be chatting all things Universal Orlando first vacation, their first experiences staying at Universal Orlando Resort, and chatting a little bit about Theme Park Today. So what you saw just then was the original introduction to this podcast that I filmed yesterday, but we had some technical difficulties, as you could tell with the audio. You know what? You can't always bet 1,000. Things happen. This is a reality of creating content. I just have to literally laugh at myself at this point because that's the only thing you can do, and we just get back on that saddle and film again. Yesterday I wasn't feeling too good, and I kind of just hit record, and that's what I got. That's what I got. I did it to myself. I've been saying that the past few weeks, I have this like one day of the week where I feel like I'm getting sick or I am sick, and then the next day I'm fine. Like today I feel so much better. Knock on wood. It's weird. I don't know, but we're back, we're recording, and let's get it. The show must go on. So welcome to an episode of Tea with KP, episode 8. Last week we were live from Universal Orlando Resort. Tonight we are back, and let's start off with KP's tea of the day. So for today's tea, we have the Halloween Horror Nights 2024 tank top. I got this on my trip with Nick and Kurt, who are going to be guests later on in this episode, so I thought it was very fitting for the occasion. It's light, it's easy, it's breezy, it's beautiful, it's cover girl, especially in that Florida heat. I love that they had the tank top version, so that's why this KP's tea of the day is Halloween Horror Nights 2024. And if you want to send me a tea for KP's tea of the day to wear from maybe your brand or your city, look in the description. That's where you could send it to, and I would really appreciate it, and I would love to wear a tea that you send me. So as I said, today we are going to be talking all about Universal Orlando first vacations. So let's start with my Universal Orlando first vacation. The first time I visited the parks was in 2012. Now before that, my parents would take me to Disney every single year. Disney, Disney, Disney. And then one year we were like, I was getting older. Maybe it's time to try out Universal Orlando. This was not their first time there. We found out the other day, looking through pictures, my parents were at Islands of Adventure in 1999, not only the opening year, but the opening month. They were there in June of 1999. So I was like, guys, what is this? Like, opening day, or it said opening something like that, or something grand opening of Islands of Adventure. They were like, oh, I guess we were there the opening month. So don't have like too many pictures of the vintage Islands of Adventure from the opening month, but they do have a few, mostly of Seuss Landing, which is exactly the same as it is today. And then before that 1999 trip, they went in, I think it was like 95, just to Universal Studios Florida. Of course, Islands wasn't open then, but they do have some pictures from that too. So this was their first time back at Universal in a while, my first time in general, and we had the best trip. We stayed at the Hard Rock, and not only did we stay at the Hard Rock, at this point in time, there was only 3 hotels, I believe, at Universal. It was Hard Rock, Royal Pacific, and Portofino, if Royal Pacific was even open then. Hey Siri, when did Royal Pacific at Universal Orlando open? I need like a producer that can like look this up for me. For now, I'll do it myself. 2001, Royal Pacific opened. Okay, so yeah, it was 3 hotels back then, and we got the best Hard Rock room. Now we were at the very end of the hallway, literally the last room, and you might say that's not the best because it's super far from the lobby, but they had a staircase on that side, so you went down the stairs and we were basically in the park. It was like the closest room possible to the parks. That's where we stayed. And I also remember too, they used to have rickshaws that took you to the park that drove along the garden path. They definitely don't have those anymore, but I do remember that. I don't remember too much. I remember a lot through pictures and just like little things or big monumental things. Like my first time on Rip Ride Rocket, I was absolutely horrified. I think I was like having a panic attack in line. My parents were like, you don't have to go on, you know? And I'm like, this is what I always do to myself. I always torment myself. Oh no, like I don't want to go, but I did want to go, you know what I mean? You're scared, but you also want to go on it so bad because you know if you don't, you're going to regret it. So I ended up going on Rip Ride Rocket after like crying in the line and loved it so much. We were talking about it after the ride and we were buying one of those videos that they take of you on Rip Ride Rocket. They still do today. And one of the great team members were like, do you want to ride again? Like you loved it so much. And we were like, yeah. So they took us up the exit and let us ride again without waiting in line. So nice. Team members, things like that make the experiences, make the memories, make the trips for families so memorable, so much fun and iconic. So shout out to whatever team member that was back in 2012 at Rip Ride Rocket. I still remember that. Thanks to you. I also remember going on Dueling Dragons, of course, like the big roller coasters. At this time, the only like upside down coaster I did was Rock and Roller Coaster. So going on Dueling Dragons was like, that was a big coaster. And Rip Ride Rocket, of course, because it's, you know, it's so intimidating going up 90 degrees like that. But Dueling Dragons, I went on with my parents and we like still laugh about it to this day because my mom was screaming her head off. Today's her birthday, by the way. Say happy birthday in the comments. But she was screaming her head off, like going up. She was like, hold on, Krystal, like, oh, hold on. And then all of a sudden the ride starts going and like we didn't hear a peep out of her. We were like, Mom, are you okay? She might have passed out on the ride, honestly. But oh, it was a good experience. I miss Dueling Dragons. Let me know in the comments if you got to ride it before it closed, before they opened Hagrid's. I love Hagrid's so much, of course, but Dueling Dragons was pretty cool too. I gotta say, Hagrid's my favorite ride ever though, so I'm not too mad at it. I also have a bunch of pictures from this trip in 2012, so I'll pull them. Are you actually kidding me right now? I'm sitting here editing this. Why did the mic do this again? We were fine up until this point in time. What's going on? Is this a haunted mansion or something? Like, is this a haunted room? I'm so confused what that noise is, why it's doing that. You know what, guys? This will be my third time recording this, so another time we'll talk about some pictures. What? Closed a few months before I went for the first time. So what is that? What? Garbage cans. Oh, and then it fixed itself. It's a cute restaurant. So bizarre. Maybe, I don't know. It's like aliens trying to intercept the Tea with KP. They're trying to be guest stars. Okay, well, I guess I'll just pick up where the audio fixed itself. This is the most bizarre thing ever. So basically what you missed is me going through some pictures from my first Universal trip. Enjoy. I don't know. I literally don't know. Give this video a like because we're going through it this week. Oh, and the NBA City restaurant too, they had like their garbage cans were basketball hoops. That was a cute restaurant. I'm surprised they did away with that. But so many great memories from our first trip, and that was like what did it for us and why we love going to Universal, that first amazing trip, and to see what it's become today. Like they added so much. Oh, I also went on the Twister ride, and my biggest fear is tornadoes, and my parents literally dragged me on the Twister ride. Thank you so much, guys, for that. Appreciate it. But they're like, no, you have to go on it. I'm glad that they did because now it's not there, of course. But I was horrified. It was pretty good. Like from what I remember, I was horrified, but it was good. I'm glad they made me do it in the end. Now, 10 years later, I'm still scared of tornadoes, but they have added so much since then, of course. You guys know how much I love Universal. A few weeks ago now, me and my friends, Nick and Kurt, did a Universal trip, and this was their first time staying on Universal property and doing like an official Universal Orlando trip. And I love hearing about first experiences and kind of like converting people over to Universal. So I wanted to share some of their thoughts, what they have to say about visiting Universal for the first time. I do have a video on Universal Orlando first timers tips. If you want to check that out, I'll link it in the description. But let's bring on Nick and Kurt and talk about our trip together and their thoughts on visiting Universal Orlando. KP, over to you. Welcome to Tea with KP, Nick, and Kurt, the theme park fairy, and Kurt with a K. Without further adu, my very close friends who we do theme park today with, but also just amazing creators. Be sure to check out their Instagrams. You can see them right here on the screen, but they are truly just the most best, genuine people that I've got to know through this community, and I recommend that you give them a follow because they are the greatest, and we had the best time ever together 2 weeks ago. Hi, Nick and Kurt. How are you doing today?
Hi. I don't
Krystal.
think I'm as good as I was when we were in Universal, unfortunately, but doing okay.
It's always the case. I'm never as good as I am with the two of you in Universal.
And
double fisting butterbeers.
Yeah.
And Twisty Treat. We had our ice cream runs at night, of course.
Surfside, 5-minute walk to Twisty Treat. I swear.
Best hotel in Orlando.
Mm-hmm. So tonight we're going to be chatting a little bit about our first Universal Orlando vacations together, but also for Nick and Kurt's first time going. And first and foremost, we have to talk about the elephant in the room, and that is Theme Park Today. So, of course, I am a part of Theme Park Today, but I want to kind of interview Nick and Kurt and kind of ask questions about Theme Park Today so you can get to know Theme Park Today a little better, because I never really talked about this yet on a Tea with KP or the Krystal Palace in like a formal video. If you follow me on Instagram, of course, you know these guys, Theme Park Today, we're all over the place. So I thought this was a great chance to get to know Theme Park Today a little bit better if you don't already know what that is, what's going on there. So if anyone wants to start us off, what is Theme Park Today?
A bunch of goofballs.
What isn't Theme Park Today?
That's a good question.
That is. No, Theme Park Today is really special. It's, Krystal said some nice things about us, but same about her. And it's what makes Theme Park Today. We're like a community. Like, yes, of course, we're a bunch of vlogger influencers and Instagram people, but we met each other and we were just like, we're special. And like, we have this deep love for theme parks and for community and just being together and having a great time and making good content. So Theme Park Today was born on a trash can.
I also think something that makes Theme Park Today special and different from other theme park media Instagrams or blogs or vlogs is that we're all over the country. We're not just in Orlando. We're not just in Southern California. And we're just kind of everywhere, all over the world, actually.
Quite literally.
Yeah. And I think that that's something special. I feel like a lot of people will niche down their content, which is like cool for them. Like, I love that when people do that, they find their thing and they go for it. But I feel like our thing is everywhere. And I think that that is something really special about Theme Park Today. And why I love the company that we've created.
Yeah. And Kurt and Nick, we didn't really touch on this, but they are both on the West Coast. Me and Mike, who is not with us today, we're both on the East Coast. So we literally have coast to coast content.
All
we travel
four corners.
We travel in the middle too. We're all over visiting parks, visiting experiences, and sharing it with you all. So where can we find Theme Park Today content?
Where can we find content?
We are everywhere, really. I mean, we've been working so hard. I mean, you can probably find us most easily on Instagram, but honestly, our website is a banger. Like, we've been working so hard on it. themeparktoday.com. Go to it. It's an amazing website, blog. What do we call it? I don't know. Home base?
Yeah, like our blogs, our articles. I think the blogs are a really nice change because, in today's day and age, you get a lot of social media, you get a lot of YouTube, and our blog has a lot of in-depth, detailed, clear, concise information that we update all the time too. So whether that's if, you know, a new little piece of information comes out, we'll go in and we'll update those blog articles. So if you prefer reading rather than, you know, scrolling endlessly on your phone, then you could check out Theme Park Today on the internet, on the web.
Literally everywhere. We have our website, we have our Instagram, we're on Twitter, YouTube, TikTok.
Yeah, Kurt, do you want to tell us a little bit about the Theme Park Today YouTube and what we've been doing over there?
Yeah, so Theme Park Today YouTube channel is pretty new. I want to say we probably only started seriously uploading things only a couple months ago. And we're just trying to give you like a real experience and not a tailor-made, what is it called? The rosy glasses? All I can think of are beer goggles.
Colored glasses.
Thank you. I wanted to say something more eloquent than beer goggles. But like, you know, we're trying to give you the experience that you can expect in the parks, because a lot of the times it's not the magical place that everybody thinks it's going to be. It is, and it is for about like 75% of your day. But there's that other 25% that a lot of people leave out. So that's what we're highlighting over at Theme Park Today, on the realism of going to a theme park, and how you can deal with that. But yeah, we've just uploaded a bunch of our Halloween Horror Nights videos, so go check those out. And they kind of also intermix with the Krystal Palace videos for HHN as well. But yeah, we also have another video coming out for HHN Hollywood this weekend, so keep an eye on for that. That's our YouTube. Go subscribe.
I love the authentic factor of Theme Park Today. And of course, you can find it here on the Krystal Palace, but all of our pages too, right? And that's what we really bonded over, is that it's not always sunshine and rainbows. It's not always perfect. You know, you're going to go have some park days that you want to crawl into a hole and cry. And that's okay. You know,
and
that
stand in the rain for hours on end.
Oh yeah, we know it all too well. So that's what I personally really love about Theme Park Today, is just sharing the reality of these theme park experiences that, you know, you very much, well, very well, what is that expression?
Yes.
Very
much well enjoy.
Does that, like, that doesn't sound
very well might have.
What? Whatever, you know what I mean? You might experience too. I was trying to be, all right, you know what? I got my Starbucks in here. I need to take a sip.
Ooh. Okay, this is actually double meaning now that I'm thinking about this, but I use this especially for today.
That is the coolest mug.
For KP, but also Kurt with a K.
But also Kurt with a K, and also it's so Theme Park Today coded with the...
It is. Actually, it really is.
It actually looks like our logo.
We got to get some yellow in our logo. That looks good.
Yeah. So my last kind of Theme Park Today question is, does Theme Park Today focus on just Disney and Universal?
No. I mean, I will say, you know, we have been there a lot recently, but I mean, like, I've been to Enchanted Forest. Kurt, you've been to SeaWorld San Diego, Tokyo, Disneyland, all over. Krystal, you literally are in Hershey Park. Like, we are all over the place. And I think it's important to get that content out there. I mean, on our last podcast that we did for Theme Park Today, Kurt highlighted a park where there's like a little garlic, like spinning around thing. We were like,
yes,
everyone needs to know about this. So we are more than just Disney and Universal.
Once a month on Tuesdays, you can catch our live podcast, Theme Park Tuesday. So be sure to follow us on Instagram, and we'll post when that's coming out each month. And you can join us live. You could chat with us. We would love to hang out with you. We talk about theme parks. We talk about all that fun stuff.
Yeah, come hang out for an hour and talk about theme parks with us.
Yeah. You two have both taught me so much about the different parks on the West Coast, especially like that Garlic Park, the Enchanted Forest. I would have never known about them. So we all learn from each other too here on Theme Park Today, which is fun because then we get to share it with you all too.
Yeah, and I mean, Krystal, you're at like a new park, I swear, all the time. So it's like we learn so much from KP that it's like, it's a really great partnership.
It is. And
Mhm.
we have the best time together.
Mhm.
You know, this podcast is about our first Universal trip. So, you know, maybe it's not the most fitting for
I'm
the
so
whole
excited.
theme park genre, but it's because we just went to Universal together. So, Theme Park Today started actually at Universal Hollywood. It was kind of a random event that happened last year. We were all in LA basically at the same time,
Mhm.
totally randomly. Kurt, of course, lives in California. So he was there. And then he was the best and got me Taylor Swift tickets. Anyway, we're not going to go down that rabbit hole, but I still owe him my life for that. Anyway, Theme Park Today started on a trash can at Universal Hollywood.
Still exists today. That trash can still exists, and so does Theme Park Today.
It does. It does. I saw it last weekend and I took a picture of it.
Mhm.
Yep. It's the historic, iconic. It was outside of the lockers, right? Right when you
Uh-huh.
walk in.
Yep.
It was.
So
There's
if you ever
two there.
go,
I had to look at the picture that we originally. Oh
oh,
my
okay.
god!
To
I had to look at the
celebrate Theme Park
picture
Today.
that we originally took to compare, but it is said trash can.
So if you're ever in Universal Hollywood and you see this trash can by the lockers, take a picture and tag us.
Yep. It's our
That's
trash
us.
can.
Yeah.
Trash girls. Monsters girls.
Girls Monsters. And 1 year later, 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago now, we did a trip to Universal Orlando, celebrate 1 year of Theme Park Today, and do Halloween Horror Nights for their first time. So I want to hear all about it. I love hearing about, you know, your first Universal trips, your first experiences. What did you love? What did you not love? Staying at a Universal hotel for the first time, because, you know, I go so much now that it's kind of like, so I love hearing first time experiences.
Mhm.
So let's hear it. How was your first Universal Orlando vacation? Now you've both been to the parks before that.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Many times.
Yes.
For me personally, many, many times.
Yeah.
I would say like a handful of times. I haven't been there like a lot, but like
Mhm.
I know how to get around the park. I know where things are, you know.
Right. But never a dedicated Universal vacation.
Never like flying in, never stayed at a Universal hotel, never have stayed in like, so I'll get into it a little bit because I was so pleasantly surprised by this trip because I used to film at like and walk around the hotels and not stay at them to get content. And I was kind of like not excited to stay. I'm like, I don't know if it's going to be good. I don't know. So yeah, this was like the official first stay in a bed with a key to a room.
With the key.
The key, yeah.
Kurt, this was your first stay too?
Yeah. Probably my first of many. I'm like already planning my next one to stay there because I don't know. It was just a lot more different than I had expected. I think the biggest like shock to me was Walgreens across the street and Twisty Treat down the street. Like just having things like accessible, you know?
Mhm.
And not to say that I've stayed at a bunch of Disney resorts. But I have stayed like at a couple, and like we've done like just a handful of Disney vacations, and it's just like it's just kind of always exhausting to me, to be honest. And this one wasn't because the hotel was literally a 3-minute bus ride
Mhm.
away, and yeah, usually Peter, my husband, and I will stay off property. We'll stay at a different resort somewhere. Now I'm like, let's just stay at a Universal hotel.
They're so reasonable. They're clean. They're accessible. And we stayed at Endless Summer Surfside this trip. So before staying here, and we had a great experience, we had such a fun time. But before this stay, what were your thoughts? What was your perspective on doing a Universal Orlando trip? Like, did you have really any desire besides, you know, maybe just like going to hang out? Or what was your perspective on Universal vacations in general?
Personally, I would have never booked this on my own. And that was just from my perspective. I will say, I do feel like the parks have changed like exponentially in the last 3 years. And maybe that goes into the hotels too. But I honestly don't know if I ever would have booked a stay if I hadn't stayed there because I was so pleasantly shocked. Like, I thought the Universal, especially Surfside, was going to be like Hilton level. Like, I really did. I thought like the service, the food, everything was going to be like Hilton or lower level. And it was better than Disney's value resorts. Like,
100%.
yeah. So, very pleasantly shocked.
I feel like I didn't really have any. I assumed that because I had never gone into film content into the hotels. So I had never even stepped foot inside a Universal hotel. I guess I just assumed that it would be like a Hyatt or like a Hilton or, whatever else. So in my mind, I was like, instead of staying at Disney, let me stay at like one of the resorts off property that's like a nicer, I can't think of it. I think we stayed at like the Marriott Buena Vista something. It was like a giant resort that we stayed at. It was like, I'd rather stay there than Universal because it's also like so much further from Disney. We're not really going to go to Universal that much. Yeah. But like I said, I'm planning a trip for 2025 and I was like, you know what, let's just do a split stay at a Universal hotel, get early park admission and have fun at Universal for a couple of days and then stay off property at Disney at like a good neighbor hotel.
I mean, you really can't go wrong. And last week I stayed at Dockside, which is a way bigger resort than Surfside. It has like over 2,000 rooms. But even at a hotel of that size at Universal, compared to the Disney value resorts, where you literally have to walk outside, it feels like you are walking so far. If you don't have a preferred room, like at Pop Century, you are walking
forever,
like miles outside in either the heat or the rain
with
or
your bags,
the humidity. Yep.
Yeah. I think that's also something too, is like, I appreciate that the hotels are like a hotel, it's like, it's like a normal hotel where they have the elevator, they have like an indoor lobby. Like it's just like a normal hotel. I like that they're not trying to do this weird thing that Disney does with their value resorts, where it's just like this spread out compound of hotel rooms and you have to walk 5-10 minutes to your room, and it just is like if you don't want to have that experience, then you have to pay like an extra $150 a night to not have that experience, which is just like, I don't know, not cool.
Right. I think that the incentive at Universal, instead of like, oh, you have to pay more to like get an elevator or whatever or a closer room, they're like, no, you don't have to pay more. You just get an express pass if you stay in our nicest hotels. Like you win either way. It's like, oh, I can book the lowest hotel, get all of these perks. I don't have to walk, And if I want to spend, at Disney, what do you get extra at? Not to like keep being mean about Disney, but in comparison, what do you really get at the premier resorts other than that they're close and the rooms are nice in most of them? Like, what is the perk?
Not much.
Free express pass for all of your guests is like an insane perk. So I'm just saying this trip has like, I think, flipped all of us. I mean, Krystal has already been like Universal. She's been saying from day one, Universal.
Yeah, Krystal made us the punch and we drank it.
We did. Well, I'm happy because I feel like, you can always say so much about Universal, and so many people go to Disney. That was like us too. I was just talking about before how my family would go to Disney every year, right? Disney. Once we went to Universal, that one year we went to Universal, like it was a game changer. And I feel like that's what happens with so many people, is that you're stuck in like this Disney. And then all of a sudden you go to Universal and you stay in Universal. So many people I know go to Universal for the first time and end up buying an annual pass. Even Kurt said that. And when we were there, he was like, should I like upgrade my ticket and get an annual pass?
Well, I should have, because I'm already going again next year. It would have been worth it.
Yeah. And
I'll do it this time.
With all the different levels, you don't have to be in state to get an annual pass too.
So nice. They're so affordable too. Like, I mean, I know there's only 2 parks, like soon to be 3. So who knows what's going to happen with the annual pass with that. But like, it's an affordable pass.
So speaking of some of the hotel perks, what did you both think of the transportation, the early park admission? Like, what are your thoughts on the Universal hotel benefits that we received from staying at Surfside?
Surfsides were great. I do have a gripe. Crystal and I stayed a night in Royal Pacific.
Sapphire. I kind of
oh my gosh, Sapphire Falls. Oh my
Sapphire
god.
Falls.
Kurt and I walked to Royal Pacific. Crystal and I stayed in Sapphire Falls. Waterboat's not my favorite. Bus was great. It's funny because, you know, I was sitting there waiting for the bus and when we were on the bus and waiting for it to leave. And I was like, this is taking kind of long. It was 2 minutes. And I keep on bringing up Disney, but a Disney bus ride from anywhere is 20 minutes. Like this was 3 minutes to the park. You maybe had to sit in an air-conditioned bus for like 5 minutes to wait for it to fill up. But then it was like, boom.
So quick.
When we were done at the park too, we never had to wait more than like 5 minutes for a bus to come pick us up either. So it was so nice. And there's fans, like good.
And we were there for we did like 3 full days and we only waited once for a bus. Every other time there was already a bus there.
Yeah. And we like went back to the hotel. We took breaks too. So we used that bus transportation a lot.
Yeah. Loved it. It was so nice. I love their bus system. It's just, I feel like they have just so many of them running. It's
I was gonna say I feel like I agree about the water transportation. It is nice, I think, if you can guesstimate the weather to the best of your ability. Because which happened to me, if you take the boat to Universal, like it's great. You're skipping that like walk through City Walk to get to the park. Like that's really nice. When it's storming, when it's raining, you're stuck. Like unless you like want to walk through the rain to the buses, which is like another 5-minute walk through the rain. That would be like, I guess, my gripe about it.
Yeah, and that happened to you
really
when we were there.
Yeah,
Kurt he had like an hour left of the trip. He gotta get the frozen butterbeer. Went over to Islands of Adventure, and kind of like got stuck there because of the rain.
It was that rain was bad.
You ended up walking back, right?
It did. I mostly ran back because it was still raining. Yeah, but I feel like in terms of early park admission, it's a no-brainer to stay there. And I think that if you don't want to, right? If you really want to have that Disney experience, or you really want to use your like hotel points and stay offsite or something, like that's fine too. There are still ways to get early park admission, right? There are still ways to get it through your tickets. And I think having the convenience though of staying at a Universal hotel, staying close by, getting that early park admission, it just makes the experience so much greater than if you were to stay offsite or at a Disney hotel. If you're using that early park admission, right? Like if you are trying to plan it out and make sure that you can take advantage of it.
Yeah, early park admission is such a huge benefit. I always recommend it. So that brings me to my next question for you two is, if someone's planning their first Universal trip, what would you recommend for them?
The obvious thing is stay at a hotel. I think the value hotels are the best. You get the most. I mean, like Express Pass would be great. I think for me, it would either be a value or like the highest tier to get the. I mean, I did like Sapphire Falls a lot, but having the water taxi be the one like big perk there, and having our room like not be my favorite room in the world, I was like, don't know if this was worth the money.
Our bathroom door didn't shut.
The 3-inch gap,
like that big. So, but my other thing, like besides the stay, is like pack for yourself. Don't be worried about like what you're gonna look like, because Florida is hot and Universal is hot. And this last trip, I flew in, so I was a Florida resident for a little while, so I was used to the heat. This last time I flew in, and like, just make sure you're good and you're comfortable. Like we took breaks back to the hotel to like shower to cool down. And like I had 2 fans with me. Dress how you want to dress. Like I know that there's a lot of blogs out there about like, wear this, wear these, do this, but use those as great references, but just like do what you want and don't care. Like seriously, don't care what anyone thinks of you. I was thinking about that. I was walking around with like my 2 fans and I was like kind of embarrassed because it was so hot. And I'm like, no, this is my Universal trip.
Yeah. And it's like for your safety too. That heat, especially in the summer, is extreme.
Halloween Horror Nights. Oh my gosh. I think I would have passed out without my fan.
I don't think I've ever sweat that much in my life.
Yeah. So like
consistently. Like
yeah.
consistently throughout the evening.
Yeah. But those are probably my main 2. And
I would be remiss to say that if you're planning a Universal vacation, to book it through our partners, the Park Prodigy, for a discount Universal vacation package and use code ThemeParkToday10. But besides that, I would say to forego, unless you have a group of like 4 or more people and you're sharing a hotel room at a premier resort, that's more worth it than staying at a value resort because you get the express pass, which is like a couple extra $100 on top of your ticket.
Yeah.
Per person. Yeah. But I will say, if it's just like 2 of you or just like you and like your kid, I don't know, we don't have kids, but if you're just going down for like a couple days or a week, I think it's more worth it to stay at an Endless Summer Resort and get the benefit of early park admission, get the benefit of having a close hotel still to the parks. And the best part I think about the Endless Summer Resort is that it's literally off of the highway. So if you are going to Disney, even for like a day or 2 or more, it really isn't that much further than like a Disney hotel.
It's not.
Like, yeah, you're going to have to pay for like your Uber, Lyft, or whatever you're going to use. But I think the amount that you'll save on Uber and lifting from your Endless Summer Resort than you would getting a room at a Disney resort is going to be exponential. And I think that that's going to be way more worth it for you in the end. Plus, for when you're staying at Universal, having that hotel close by, that was one of my favorite things, was that we were able to just go back to the room. It wasn't a 20-minute bus ride back to our hotel, right? Like anytime and this isn't me just like continuing to like bash Disney, right? It's just like, it's
a lot of walking.
It's a true perk of staying at this Universal hotel that we stayed at. And anytime that I have been to the Disney parks in Orlando, I don't go back to my hotel room because it is so far. It takes so much time out of my day. And when I have to travel that far to get to a hotel room, unless, again, you're staying at a premier resort at Disney, in my mind, I'm losing money on my day ticket because I'm taking at least an hour out of my time round trip to go back to the hotel for, an hour or 2. Where at Universal, it was like literally we went back to the hotel and got back to the parks maybe an hour and a half later.
It was super quick. And all this talk is making me want another trip. So we have to plan something.
I agree.
We have to be back all together again.
We do. Which I was going to say, a very quick tip is go with people that you get along with. And that this was the best trip. And I think it really rounded out Theme Park Today because, I mean, you can watch our videos and see all of the fun that we had, but get you friends that, lets you do things that you love. Lets you ride ET while Krystal live streams and Kurt gets dinner, that's all. That's all I have to say to end it.
Worked out. Let's end with a little fun one. What is everyone's favorite part about Universal? It could be a ride, it could be an attraction, it could be a park, it could be whatever.
I feel like we already know what mine is.
Kurt had so many butterbeers. Kurt was gonna turn into a butterbeer at one point. I was convinced.
They're delicious. My favorite part about a Universal trip is a frozen butterbeer.
We're going with
I have to have one at least once a day. But
you should try to make your own at home.
But it's not going to be the same.
Yeah, it's not. It is not.
I need to get
did you get one in Hollywood?
You know I did.
Oh, I was half asleep watching the Theme Park Today stories from that.
Yeah,
and your stories.
I definitely did. There are a couple other things. You're all gonna have to go watch our YouTube video on Halloween Horror Nights in Hollywood because there's a couple things I didn't even tell my coworkers here that I did.
Oh.
Lucky us.
Anyway, besides frozen butterbeer, I think something that I love about Universal is the way that they are leaning towards the future of attractions.
Yes.
It really is just game changing. I think for theme parks in general, but also for me, as a person who visits theme parks often, like I really dislike simulators. And I think until Hagrid's was built, there wasn't really a ride that made me think, or actually not even Hagrid's, Gringotts. There wasn't really a ride at Universal that I wanted to go on. Rock and Roller Coaster was great. That was fun. But again, they're just roller coasters to me at that point. Like there's not really anything special about
Rip
it. Even the
Rocket?
Hulk. What?
Rip Rocket? Said rock and roller coaster. I was like,
Oh,
when did we
yeah.
go to Disney?
Rockin' and rip it, and it's fine.
Wait, now I'm confused.
Hollywood Ride Rocket.
Thank you.
Okay, but like that, what is that name? I'm
I don't
sorry.
know.
Hollywood Rip Ride Rocket. No,
Yes.
that's too much for me. So I think like those are just like roller coasters. Like even the Hulk roller coaster, it's just a roller coaster to me. But what they did with Gringotts, what they did with Hagrid's, what I feel like they're going to do with every single ride at Epic Universe is just make it so unique, so out of this world. And I love that they're getting away from screens and the motion simulators. And I feel like they're still going to have that, right? It's still part of Universal's concoction of rides. But I'm just really excited. I'm just really excited. And I really can't wait for all that to come to fruition and for us to go.
Same.
Me too. My favorite, it's kind of piggybacking off of Kurt's, but my favorite thing about Universal is the team members for two reasons. One, I don't like, seriously, it is like night and day what Universal team members are like now. Our whole night at Premium Scream was like the most pleasant night I've ever had at a theme park with every single person working there. I'm not like even exaggerating. Like every single person we came in contact with, our Surfside concierge, nicest person I've ever talked to. Like even our time in the park, like we had a very pleasant time. And to say also with this new team is the new marketing team. I feel like it's so much more rich than it used to be. And this marketing team is really thinking about everyone. I mean, I was even thinking about the treats. Like I used to have nothing to eat at Universal, nothing. The food was not good. And they came out with these ice pops. Like there's so many versions. There's no dairy. They're vegan and they're extremely refreshing. So it's like you thought about all dietary concerns. You thought about the heat. Like it wasn't just, oh, let's put out this mini cupcake and charge $10 for it. It was, let's think of a way that we can include everyone in really, really fun themed desserts. Like, so this team is killing it. Epic Universe is going to kill it. Love the Universal team so much.
I think that really sums it up. I mean, I know I always talk about my love for Universal on the channel, but now I'm glad that I have two friends to back me up on why Universal is great. And we highly recommend that you plan a trip.
Go.
So,
you'll love it.
Thank you so much, Nick and Kurt, for being on Tea with KP. If you want to see more of them, give it a big thumbs up. You don't really have a choice because you're definitely going to see more of them because they are my favorite creators. If you don't follow them already, be sure to go follow their personal accounts, The Theme Park Fairy and Kurt with a K _ Kurt with a K _ on Instagram. Follow Theme Park Today on Instagram, YouTube, and www.themeparktoday.com. Thank you both for being here, and I appreciate your friendship, your support, and just being awesome creators. Follow their journey on the West Coast, Orlando, all that fun stuff. Yeah. You won't regret following them because they're amazing.
Thank you so much, Krystal. No,
thanks for having us.
Guidance and everything. Like without you, Theme Park Today would not be a thing. So thank you.
It takes all of us.
All of us.
It takes a village. We're the village.
Fun.
This was fun. Thank you guys for watching. I hope you enjoyed this episode. If you did, be sure to give it a big thumbs up. Subscribe to the Krystal Palace, and we will see you in the next Tea with KP. I'm going to go watch Big Brother and go to bed.
Get some sleep.
Bye.
Bye.